of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
John Bailey, First Ward.
Bill Carlos, Second Ward.
Michael Sifon, Fourth Ward.
Joe Lepore, Fifth Ward.
Ann Shershon, 6th Ward.
Todd Tancredi, Supervisor.
Alicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Jim Nelson, Town Attorney.
Adriano Dierna, also attorney for the town.
Okay, we don't have a super long agenda tonight, but I'm going to run through the agenda items, and then we'll take questions on agenda items before we begin the actual meeting. Item number 1 is approve our annual base and adjusted proportions shift. Our assessors here, if anybody has any questions. 2 is to authorize town participation in the surplus auction, which we've done a few years, and typically we're able to come up with some items that we're no longer using that still have some use to them, so we try to auction them off to the highest bidder. 3 is to authorize supervisor to sign Springside Avenue property sale documents. 4 is to authorize supervisor to sign Van Sicklen Drive property sale documents. 5 is to retain a hearing officer for a legal matter related to employment. 6 to set a public hearing date for 6, 7, and 8 are all to set public hearing dates for town code amendments to the New Hamburg area of town. 9 is to retain Vanderwater and Vanderwater for the Arlington Sewer Improvement Area project. This is in relation to EFC financing and a mountain of paperwork that we've got to get through in order to see if we can get EFC financing, which if we can, it'll be a value to the town. 10 is a resolution to approve the dedication of the new pavilion at the Greenvale Field and to dedicate it as the Jack Still Memorial Pavilion. He's our former highway superintendent who passed away. 11 is to approve town board minutes. 12 is a notification of a couple legal claims, and then we have a few special consents. 1 is a 30-day liquor license waiver for Dutchess Golf Club. 2 is to approve a budget modification in highway, and that's basically so what we want to do is buy salt before the new state prices come out. We assume, it's kind of an assumption, but we assume they're going to be higher. But we need the salt at any rate with the winter months the way they were. We don't have enough to potentially take care of November, December, but we've got to transfer some money in order to do that. Set the public hearing date as SC3 for a property maintenance issue on Patricia Lane. 4 is a set, again, 4 and 5 are also set public hearings for property maintenance issues. And then 6 is set date for a public hearing that Councilman Sifon is doing for some no parking on roads up in Fairview. So I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for public comment on agenda items.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone who would like to address the board? Doreen?
Good news. Thank you.
So I have questions about agenda items 6, 7, and 8 to amend the town code for New Hamburg. Are those 3 amendments the reason why we have 2 town attorneys again this evening? Is it related to those?
Yes.
Okay. And was there ever any resolution to any of those issues using the town's noise ordinance?
We enforced and levied some tickets using our noise ordinance, but we don't feel that it would resolve the issues that exist there.
Okay, so basically, taxpayers have to pay extra money because of the fact that there was a business that maybe wasn't being exactly considerate of town laws, it sounds like. Okay, and then my only other question was on the budget modification for highway. And I guess, so bottom line is, you need to buy more salt before the end of the year, and there's not enough money right now in the existing highway department budget, and you just need to transfer some money.
That's right, and, we're hoping that we can get in before the prices, we assume, as I said, prices for salt will go up based on the demand that there's been the last 2 years, so we want to do it now.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Anybody else? See no one, I make a motion to resume, Mr. Nelson?
Before you proceed, on resolution number 3,
Yep.
in the fifth line, pardon me, it indicates a sale price of $22,600, which is typographically incorrect. It calculates out to $2,260. So whoever presents that resolution
Okay.
might want to know that.
Okay, thank you. All right, I make a motion to resume the rules.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Jay?
Be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby adopt and certify the current base proportions as follows. It's homestead and then non-homestead. Town, 50.90981 homestead, 49.090199 homestead. Consolidated light, town outside village, 48.44850. Non-homestead, 51.55150. Consolidated light, 52.25721. Non-homestead, 47.742279. Spackengill School, homestead, 46.62375. Non-homestead, 53.37625. Arlington School, homestead, 62.03652. Non-homestead, 37.96348. Wappinger School, homestead, 58.66584. Non-homestead, 41.33416. Be it further resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby adopt and certify the adjusted base proportions as follows. Town, homestead, 51.17664. Non-homestead, 48.82336. Town outside the village, homestead, 48.75332. Non-homestead, 51.24668. Consolidated light, homestead, 52.66597. Non-homestead, 47.33403. Spackenkill School, homestead, 46.76246. Non-homestead, 53.23754. Arlington School, homestead, 62.01174. Non-homestead, 37.98826. Wappinger School, homestead, 58.6692. Non-homestead, 41.43308. So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion? Kathleen, could you, I do have one question. For town, I see Spagnuolo, Arlington, Wappinger, obviously, the school districts. And then we have town and outside village, so.
Are you comparing the top to the bottom?
Well, I am, but I'm just talking right now about, all right, let's take town, for instance.
Okay.
What would that cover that isn't already covered in either Wappinger, Arlington, Spanghill, town outside village? Is that just the town inside the village?
This is town with the village.
Okay, so town outside village is the town
Just
outside
the
of the
town.
village?
Yes, that would be just the town tax. You would use that for the town tax. And the top number, the town, this is on adjusted base proportions on the
Yeah.
second set of numbers.
Yeah, we need to, yeah.
The town portion is the portion that is kind of used for the village.
So that's the village, and town outside village would, say, be anything outside the village?
Yes.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and basically, the rates from last year have dropped. So on the homestead side, because last year's rates, we'll just take town, we'll take town outside village, okay? Last year's rate was 49.999951. This year, it's 48.75332 for homestead. So the residents will be picking up less of a share of the levy.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you. And Kathleen, would you do me a favor? Stick around in case there's a question on 3 or 4. Thanks. Anything else on the board? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the Town of Poughkeepsie Departments to dispose of surplus equipment by participating in the Dutchess County Public Auction or its website auction, and does hereby authorize the supervisor to execute any required intermunicipal or other participating agreements and all transfer documents, all provided that a complete record of equipment and the results of the auction be maintained, and be it further resolved that this is a Type 2 action requiring no secret review. So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
Any of the items that we have that we're going to try to resell, or could we put them on our website so our residents can look at them first before they go to this website for auction?
You could.
I mean, I would like to let our residents know what we have for sale since they paid for it, and
Can't
maybe
they go to the auction?
maybe they want to see it first before they go to the auction.
I mean, that's fine. I just, sometimes the expense of putting something on the website and going through that process is going to be far more expensive than what we get from the item. But especially for more expensive things, I guess.
Why don't you just advertise the auction on the website so they can go over to it?
Yeah, that's what I would.
Okay, that's fine.
Say.
Just let her put it on our website then, let somebody know.
Okay, maybe we can advertise the auction on the website. Okay. Anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Resolved, Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby authorize the supervisor to sign all papers necessary and proper to effectuate a transfer of surplus property owned by the Town of Poughkeepsie to Built 3, Parcel 3 LLC, which property is situated on Springside Avenue in the Town of Poughkeepsie and described on Exhibit A for the sum of $2,260. Such sale to be by the Town of Poughkeepsie on a quick-claim basis, with the closing only to occur after the expiration of any required term for the filing of a permissive referendum without the filing of such a petition. And be it further resolved, the Town Board finds this is a Type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second.
For a motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to sign all papers necessary and proper to effectuate a transfer of surplus property owned by the Town of Poughkeepsie to 716 Route 211 West Ltd., which property is situated on Van Sickle Drive in the Town of Poughkeepsie and described as Exhibit A for the sum of $19,863.36. Such sale to be by the Town of Poughkeepsie on quitclaim basis on the closing only occur after the expiration of any required term for filing of a permissive referendum without the filing of such petition, and be resolved that the Town Board finds this a Type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I know we had a gentleman here a week or two ago that offered us $10,000 for this parcel. I know this is the market rate, but in all honesty, you can't do much with that land. I would say either give him a counteroffer for maybe $14,000 or take the $10,000. He's already done some work, to beautify the area over there. It's been an eyesore for such a long time. I say we just get rid of it. I'm not trying to undercut the market, but no one could do anything if they bought that property.
Kathleen, this is why I wanted you to stay in case there's a question. This price, you can't say anything from there in case you're going to. The price is based on an estimation you provide of $4 a square foot. I don't know how firm, that is. This is based on the total square footage, and we used a $4 value per square foot that presumably you had given. I don't know what your feelings are.
Well, when he
about that.
originally, it was very hard. I have no sales. It's very hard. So I had to go with what I went with when I did at the time. Now, I know previously, I think I gave a higher, I don't know who the previous, Mr. Germano. I think previously it was at the height of the market he was asking, and back then things were skyrocketed. This gentleman, when he called me again, didn't have any more recent sales. I know the market has come down a little bit as far as land sales, especially in Spackenkill due to the taxes. So, and it's hard to figure out. I
look at it as-
told him, basically what I said to him was, look, I kind of took what sales I could and came up with a price with other parcels that had sold on Route 9 going to Wappingers and stuff like that. And that's what I came up with. But if I told him, look, bottom line is, it's the town board's decision on, make them an offer. I don't know, what the town, it was an issue, I think I mentioned, since it's right there at the corner of,
Right.
South Road, and I didn't know if there was going to be an issue with snow plowing or anything like that. I didn't know what the town, I know sometimes the town uses land for, dumping
Storage, right.
snow and stuff like that,
You
so I
didn't think
wasn't
this is a
sure.
big enough piece to do something like
And
that.
I wasn't
That's the
sure, just up,
problem.
because when, after they plow on the highway, I didn't know how Mark, plows. So, I told him to make an offer to the town. I
He
mean, I
did, he
know.
offered 10, and that's
Yeah.
where we got the 10 from.
Yeah.
And I agree with Mike. I looked at the property. This gentleman is willing to work with the neighbors to clean the property. He has done a great job so far.
It puts it back on the tax.
Right. I think the amount, it's a little high for me. I just don't want him to walk away. Because, and I agree, maybe we should.
That's,
Do we set a price and then
And
have
I-
him make a counteroffer? How do we do this?
We could make a counteroffer. We
You can put this
Got the-
out, and he can come back, you can change it now. It's really whatever
Yeah.
you would like.
Why don't we put it out and see if he comes back with a counter?
Right,
That'd be-
I mean,
at the
I'll look-
19,000 number or the 12 or 13, Mike, what did you say?
Well, I said, if you feel that 10 is not appropriate, I'd make it 14, make a counteroffer to him, see if he wants it. But in all honesty, I'd just assume, take the 10 and
To be honest with you,
beautifying the neighborhood, he's putting money into the project, it's gonna help him make that a better building and project over on the property he's got. And honestly, it's something we don't have to maintain.
And
Yeah.
there's nobody can build anything on it.
no, you
No.
can't do
I
it.
could
No.
use it.
It's 4 feet wide.
It's not a
No,
benefit.
it's valuable to him.
Yeah,
But not
exactly.
to
Bottom
anybody
line.
else.
No, you're right.
Right, it's
It's only beneficial to the
Mike,
properties.
I'll go-
Well, it's an
What do you
eyesore for
think
us, and we have to maintain it if we don't put it back on the tax roll.
It's been a headache for years.
Yeah.
I mean,
No
this thing
denying
I
is a
it.
mean,
headache and not-
you
Put it
know-
back on a tax roll.
We spent an awful lot of time talking about it over the last
Yeah.
number of years.
Do we vote on the price now? Or my feeling is, I think it's, to me,
No, we can make an emotion to amend it right now,
Amend
another
it,
price, and I
would say amend it for the 10 grand and just call it a day.
agree with you.
Yeah.
That's how much they had asked for it before, and again, it's only worthwhile to this one property adjoining it.
Motion to amend the resolution number 4, changing the price from the sum of $19,863.36 to $14,863, or to $10,000?
I would say
10,000.
10.
10,000.
To $10,000.
So moved. Second.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
I have a question. The last one, you said 5-0, but it was really 6-0.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay, just checking.
Yep. Always make sure my arithmetic is right. Sometimes I don't see people.
And do you want to take a vote on the, because we had a motion and a second.
I'm sorry.
Want to vote on the substantive
Okay.
motion now that it's amended?
Yeah, let me redo that whole thing. So the motion, you're right, I was in a little fog for a minute. We have a motion to amend the resolution as read to $10,000. We have a second on that motion. So all those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. And the overall amended resolution? A second on that?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, passes 6-0. All right, and number 5?
Whereas the town board determines that professional services of a qualified, I guess it's me, of a qualified, all right, qualified independent hearing officer with the necessary expertise is presiding over an employee disciplinary hearing under the Civil Service Law, Section 75, to be designated, and that such employee disciplinary designee shall make a record of the hearing and submit his recommendation to the board for review and decision. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor of the town of Poughkeepsie be and hereby is authorized at a direction and directed to enter into an agreement to retain the services of Kenneth M. Bernstein, Esquire, a qualified and independent hearing officer, and that the fees for such a hearing officer shall be billed to the town at $185 per hour plus reasonable distributions. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Number 6, be it resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby set the 19th day of August, 2015 at 7 p.m. at Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, for a public hearing to consider amendments to the Town of Poughkeepsie Code, Chapter 195, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, which amendments are to establish a weekly schedule of truck weight limitations in the New Hamburg area of the town by adding to Section 195-46B the underscored language and deleting the stricken language as follows. B, in accordance with provision of 195-14, trucks in excess of the weights indicator hereby excluded from the following streets or parts thereof, which restriction includes a prohibition against the pickup and delivery of materials slashed, and we have underlined merchandise or other property on said streets during the hours set forth here in name of street, Bridge Street, weight limit 5 tons, location Stone Street East to the westerly terminus of the Bridge Street Bridge, all day on Sundays from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. and from 8 p.m. through 11:59 p.m. Mondays through Saturday. And the Reed Road, again, weight limit 5 tons, and the location will be Stone Street East to the westerly terminus of the Reed Road Bridge all day on Sundays from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. and from 8 p.m. through 11:59 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Be it further resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie has hereby declared this action to be an unlisted action pursuant to 6 NYCRR 167.2 AK of the SECR regulations, finds that there are no other involved agencies for SECR purposes, and authorizes the legal and planning departments to prepare a draft short environmental assessment form EAF Part 1, project information, and Part 2 impact statement, and any necessary narrative intent statement, and be further resolved that said local law, if adopted, shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby set the 19th day of August, 2015, 7 p.m., Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rock Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as for the time, date, and place of a public hearing to consider amendments to Town Code, Chapter 195, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, specifically 195-50, Schedule 15, No Standing, which amendments are to add to Section 195-50, Schedule 15, the underscored language, and delete the stricken language as follows. All town-owned roads west of the westerly terminus of Bridge Street Bridge between Reed Road and River Road from 6 a.m. to 7:59 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Be it further resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does determine that pursuant to 6 NYCRR 617.5C 20 and 27, this action is a Type 2 action requiring no environmental review. Be it further resolved that said local law, if adopted, shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Bill?
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the 19th day of August, 2015, at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall of the Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, for a public hearing to consider amendments to the Town of Poughkeepsie Code, Chapter 195, entitled Vehicle and Traffic, which amendments are to establish a weekly schedule of tractor-trailer combination length limitations in the New Hamburg area of the town by adding a new code section 195-14.1, tractor-trailer combinations over certain lengths excluded, and by adding a new code section 195-46C as detailed below. The underscored language to be added and the stricken language to be deleted as follows. Add 195-14.1, tractor-trailer combinations over certain lengths excluded. Tractor-trailer combinations whose combined length exceeds lengths indicated herein are hereby excluded from the streets or parts of streets described in Schedule 11 of 195-46 attached hereto and made part of this chapter. Add to 195-46C. In accordance with the provisions of 195-14.1, tractor-trailer combinations in excessive lengths indicated are hereby excluded from the following streets or parts thereof, which restrictions include prohibition against the pickup and delivery of merchandise or other property on said streets during the hours set forth herein. Bridge Street. Length of limit 50 feet. Location Stone Street east to the westerly terminus of Bridge Street, of the Bridge Street Bridge, all day on Sundays, and from 12 a.m. to 9 a.m., and from 2 p.m. through 11:59 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Reed Road, 50 feet, Stone Street east to the westerly terminus of Reed Road Bridge, all day on Sundays, and from 12 a.m. to 9 a.m., and from 2 p.m. through 11:59 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby declare this action to be an unlisted action pursuant to New 6 NYCRR 617-2 AK of the SEQR regulations, finds that there are no other involved agencies for SEQR purposes, and authorizes the Legal and Planning Department to prepare a draft short environmental assessment form, EAF, Part 1, Project Information, Part 2, Impact Statement, and any necessary narrative intent statement. And be it further resolved that said local law, if adopted, shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
I guess Councilman Sifon offered the following resolution, seconded by, I guess we got to read this. Whereas the Town of Poughkeepsie proposes to enter into an agreement with Vanderwater and Vanderwater LLP for the purpose of establishing the terms and conditions under which Vanderwater and Vanderwater LLP shall render professional legal services to the town in connection with the expansion and improvement of the Arlington wastewater treatment facility through the creation of the Arlington Sewer Improvement Area Number 1 project, including but not limited to potential New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation EFC financing. And whereas the purpose of this agreement is to state by agreement for purposes of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation financing the basis under which Vanderwater and Vanderwater LLP is compensated on this capital project so that the town may include such expenditures in the EFC grant or funding applications. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board approves and authorizes the supervisor to execute a proposed agreement with Vanderwater and Vanderwater LLP attached hereto for the purposes described herein, or any other agreement having substantially the same or similar provisions for the amount not to exceed $20,000. The foregoing resolution was duly put to a vote, which resulted as followed. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
I have a question. How, with respect to the contract that doesn't have a termination date, it terminates at the end of the project, I would think, right?
You mean this agreement?
Yeah.
This for finance.
As a practical matter, the issue here involves the fact that in 2002 and 2008, when this project was originally projected and proposed, the financing was going to be traditional municipal financing. Since then, the town found that there was the potential for this through the Environmental Facilities Corporation, which, if the town gets that, would result in a very substantial savings, particularly on the interest on this. However, the Environmental Facilities Corporation holds projects to their own and significantly higher SEQR standards than a standard municipal financing would be. Pardon me. So what we're doing is asking Ron Blass, who's one of my partners, to continue working with counsel at EFC to satisfy EFC that those 2002 and 2008 documents, in fact, met all of the current Environmental Facilities Corporation seeker standards. So hopefully the town can qualify for the current round of funding benefits.
This is the same company we had at the water plant, right? It's a significant difference. The only question I had is, there's not an end date on
Well,
it.
it says in number 3, the town's continued use of professional services by the law firm for purposes of the project shall be at the town's future discretion. So I think it's at our discretion with a max of, for this agreement of
Okay, but-
$20,000.
That means that we can cancel it on our side anytime we want, right?
Yes, you
Okay.
can.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Anything else? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Where we at, Joe?
Oh.
Mike?
Who just read? Bill just read it, or-
No, Joe's turn. Joe,
Yo, me?
you're up.
Number
For
10?
10, yeah.
Oh, great, okay. Be resolved that that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize supervisors to contract for the erection of a plaque to be placed at Greenville Park designating the pavilion as the Jack Still Memorial Pavilion in recognition of Jack Still's service of the town of Poughkeepsie. So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? And this would be, what we're looking at is more than a plaque. It would, you'd be able to read it from standing on the ground looking up on the pavilion's rectangular in shape, so on each end. So, all right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the minutes for the following 2015 Town Board meetings, to wit: April 15, 2015, regular Town Board meeting; April 29th, 2015, special Town Board meeting; May 6, 2015, regular Town Board meeting; May 13th, 2015, Committee of the Whole and special Town Board meeting; May 20th, 2015, regular Town Board meeting; June 3rd, 2015, regular Town Board meeting; June 17th, 2015, regular Town Board meeting; July 8th, 2015, regular Town Board meeting. So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Be resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby grant special consent to the following items, to wit: 1, approve 30-day liquor license waiver, Dutchess Golf Club; 2, approve budget modification highway; 3, set the public hearing for property maintenance at 9 Patricia Road; 4, set the public hearing for property maintenance at 10 Titus Road; 5, set the public hearing for property maintenance at 242 Innes Avenue; and 6, set the public hearing for town code amendments, no parking. These would be on the roads of Inwood, Woodlawn, Hawks, Hawkins, Eagle, Lyford, and Waldorf. And be it further resolved that upon the objection of any member of the town board, an item may be removed from the list and voted on separately. So moved.
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby acknowledge receipt of a request from Nikki B. Warner on behalf of Dutchess Golf Club, 2628 South Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, for waiver of the 30-day review period for a liquor license application. Be it further resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby approve the town clerk's forwarding of a waiver and consent pursuant to the attached request. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby modify the 2015 budget pursuant to the attached budgetary transfer request form submitted by the controller to allow for highway to purchase salt at prices pre-August 31st, 2015 as follows. Increase DB 5142-0431, snow materials and supplies, $80,000. Increase DB 909, appropriate fund balance, $80,000. So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Whereas orders to remedy, copies of here attached to, have been issued for the property located at 9 Patricia Road, Town of Poughkeepsie, State of New York, pursuant to Chapter 159 of the Town of Poughkeepsie Town Code, and whereas said orders to remedy have not been complied with, now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the second day of September 2015 at 7 p.m. at Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Old Rock Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as and for the date, time, and place of public hearing to consider recommendation from the zoning administrator that the town or its contractor remove and as needed continue to remove all garden waste, fallen tree limbs, cut and continue to cut the grass to a height not to exceed 6 inches, and remove and continue to remove all solid waste, debris, and litter, all at the above property, so it will not become overgrown and unsightly. The cost of which work shall constitute a lien and charge on the above real property until paid, satisfied, or discharged, and shall be collected in the same manner as other town charges. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Where orders to remedy copies of which attached have been issued to a property located at 10 Titus Road, Town of Poughkeepsie, State of New York, pursuant to Chapter 159 of the Town of Poughkeepsie Town Code, and where said orders to remedy have not been complied with, now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set second day of September 2015 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Overrock Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as for the time, date, and place of a public hearing, consider it a recommendation from the zoning administrator that the town is or its contract to remove as needed, continue to remove all garden waste, all fallen tree limbs, cut and continue to cut the grass to a height not to exceed 6 inches, and remove and continue to remove all solid waste, debris, and litter, all the above property, so it will not become overgrown and unsightly. The cost of which will work shall constitute a lien in charge of the above real property until paid, satisfied, or discharged, and shall be collected in the same manner of the town charges. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Whereas orders to remedy, copies of which are hereto attached, have been issued for the property located at 4-2 Innes Avenue, Town of Poughkeepsie, State of New York, pursuant to Chapter 159 of the Town of Poughkeepsie Town Code, and whereas orders to remedy have not been complied to, now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the second day of September 2015 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as and for the time, date, and place of a public hearing to consider recommendation from the zoning administrator that the town or its contractor remove and as needed to continue to remove all garden waste and fallen tree limbs, cut and continue to cut grass to a height not to exceed 6 inches, and remove and continue to remove all solid waste, debris, and litter, all at the above property, so it will not become overgrown unsightly, the cost of which work shall constitute a lien and charged on the above real property until paid, satisfied, or discharged, and shall be collected in the same manner as other town charges. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Be resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the second day of September 2015 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Overrock Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as the time, date, and place of a public hearing to consider amendment to the Town of Poughkeepsie Code, Chapter 195, entitled Vehicle and Traffic, specifically Section 195-51, Schedule 16, entitled Parking Prohibited at Certain Hours, which amendment will be as follows. Add name of street, Inwood Avenue, side both, hours midnight to 8 a.m. every day, location from intersection with Fulton Street to the intersection with Barrett Avenue. Name of street, Woodlawn Avenue, side both, hours midnight to 8 a.m. every day, location from intersection with Fulton to the intersection with East Cedar Street. Name of street, Hawk Lane, side both, time midnight to 8 a.m. every day, the entire length. Name of street, Hawkins Street, side both, again, time midnight to 8 a.m. each day, the entire length. Name of street, Eagle Lane, side both, time midnight to 8 a.m. each day, the entire length. Lyford Lane, both sides, midnight to 8 a.m. each day, the entire length. And the last street will be Waldorf Place, both sides, midnight to 8 a.m. each day, the entire length. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of Town Poughkeepsie does declare itself as lead agency under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act and does determine that this action is exempt action. And be it further resolved that if adopted, said local law shall become effective immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. And that brings us to the end of our agenda. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for public comment on town issues.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone here who would like to address the board? Doreen?
On agenda item 7, Town Code Amendment, no standing New Hamburg. Did you say that an EAF Part 1 and 2 was needed for that one?
Number 7.
Treated as type 2 action.
Type 2 action requiring no environmental review.
Okay, so 6 and 8 do require EAF Part 1 and 2, but number 7, you're considering no seeker. Okay.
As a practical matter, all three of them will be considered in the seeker.
Okay, but just no EAF Part 1 and 2 prepared for that particular one.
I'm pretty sure that we will include the no standing in the EAF.
Okay. So the other two, though, specifically said EAF Parts 1 and 2 were going to be prepared, but not for number 7, for no standing.
I mean,
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. And there was an amount set not to exceed for number 9. Was there any amount set for the lawyer not to exceed for those 3 amendments for New Hamburg?
no.
Okay. And my other comment about the Van Sicklen Drive property,
Yeah.
I mean, you went from the assessor saying almost $20,000 to you just cut it in half to 10. To me, that's just like you gave away the store.
Well, I don't
And-
think the assessor, I think her own statements here were that she had really no comps. This is a piece of land that isn't buildable, only can be used by the neighbor who purchased Humana's, and I haven't taken the time doing it, I won't, but if I went to add up the amount of time this town board and this town has taken dealing with that piece of property, I would bet it's a substantial amount of money, so.
Oh, I don't doubt it. It's just that going from nearly 20 down to 10 was pretty substantial.
If I remember rightly, the first time I saw this, it was down in 8, 7 or 8. It wasn't even at 10.
I don't know.
I don't
And
know.
I think it went up from that to what it is now, or it went all the way up to 19, which is, it's 4 feet wide and 20 or 30 feet long. It's not worth, it's not worth more.
I know, like I said, just to me, going from 20 down to 10
Yeah.
was
Well,
quite a jump.
Well, when you think about us back on a property tax roll, we don't have to maintain it anymore. We're saving money on both ends, and over the long run, we're going to make out.
And then
And it's
just
going to
one,
look better.
right, and then just one last thing about the property maintenance. I know at one of the last meetings, you said that the county would end up making us whole on that, but let's not forget that we are also county taxpayers, so we're still paying for it.
Yeah, but I would say to this, and I've argued with Mr. Armstrong about this, if any residents, and this is an open invitation.
I know.
If they prefer to have these properties left with long grass, with debris throughout the yards and the tree limbs laying all over, let us know, and that's what we'll do. I think the
I'm just
majority.
pointing out that we are still county.
I know, but,
still
so I'm
county
gonna respond to
taxpayers.
that. So my point is,
But it's also keeping
most
property
residents have
values up.
indicated to me that they want they don't want these properties to look vacant. They don't want vagrants to think they're vacant and get in and steal copper and piping. So, we're not doing this to try to put a heavier burden on the taxpayers. What we're trying to do is make sure the residents that still are occupied
Yeah.
maintain an assessed value that is decent and, you know, at least as high as it can be, and that they aren't impacted by these empty homes that are really scattered throughout the town.
Well, and it just goes to show that even though we keep hearing that the economy's getting better, there's still
Yes.
these properties
I agree with you on that.
showing, well, you should, showing up, so.
It's not getting better.
Well, I'd also like to point out, Doreen, on the news recently, there was a house in New Jersey that squatters moved in. The homeowner on file doesn't care about getting them out, won't try to get them out, could care less about it, and the bank's not taking over the house. They're living in there. They have electric, they have water, and they've been living in there, and the neighbors can't get them out. They're paying no taxes, living rent-free, and just paying their electric bill.
Yeah, I'm
So, I mean,
not
do we
saying you
want
shouldn't do
squatters
it, I'm
living in
just
every
saying
house?
that in the long run, we still pay for it as
Yeah, it's
taxpayers.
a problem for the entire area, no question about it.
Yep.
In addition, I'd like to add that Sarah and the zoning administration and our staff have been done a great job to keep the property. I know in my ward, you know, and that's one of my number one for me, it's the quality of life and property, and they've done a great job to maintain the property, you know, and that's number one thing.
Yeah, that's an added expense to the town as well. You know, I mean, Sarah would tell you much of her time this time of year is dealing with these empty properties. Unfortunately, the number of them don't seem, you know, I don't know if they're growing as fast as they once did, but they aren't going down as fast as we'd like them to. So it continues to be a sign that the economy, at least in this area of the country, isn't strong, and certainly not as strong as we'd like it to be.
No, at least we have a way of getting our money back, and not, you know, we don't have to wait. The county waits, they will be made whole sooner or later. It's just a matter of how long they wait.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a burden like us with all the tax certs and things, so this is at least something the county's holding the burden on most of it.
Yeah.
Mr.
I would like to know if there's anybody else who'd like to address the board. Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. As long as you're not going to argue with each other and fight, we allow that.
My name is Philip Darcy. I live on 40 Sutton Park Road, and this is my neighbor.
My name is Anthony Lickstrina. I live on 42 Sutton Park Road.
Nice to meet you.
And we come to talk to you a little bit about the traffic on our street.
Okay.
We've contacted the Poughkeepsie Police Department a few times, and intermittently we'll have some enforcement. But that street is about a half-mile straightaway, and people consistently do 50 to 60 miles an hour down that road. It also has a double yellow line. We're not sure why. We're in a 30 residential, and someone painted a double yellow line there about 10 years ago. And
We think it's more of a problem with the double line. We don't understand why it's there.
but it seems to incite people to think that they're on Vassar Road.
Yeah.
Because they literally, I mean, I'll get people, when we're trying to sleep at night, there's a guy who does 80 down our road. I mean, it feels like an explosion when the car passes. And police will, I mean, when we call and ask the police, they're very polite and they're very helpful, and they come and they'll patrol it, but it's not for a long period of time. And so people learn to slow down for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And then they go back. And when you put that little sign up that says how fast you're going, that lasts for a few days. And I told Mrs. Sherjan that then they'll start to see how fast they can go with that sign. So I specifically bought a house not on Vassar Road when I bought. I mean, Anthony grew up in this neighborhood.
I've been there 40 years, and in the last 10 years, it's gotten worse. This September, we've had a kid get hit by a car on that road, and we still can't get anything done about
This
it.
is, part of the problem for the town is the law doesn't allow us to lower the speed limit on town roads. Our town speed limit's 30, and unfortunately, it's a crazy quirk in the state law. We can raise it, but we can't lower it. So we've got to go through Albany, legislative approval in Albany to get it lower. But we can make sure, there's the better and a heavier police presence, and we'll work at that. But unfortunately, we don't have the authority to lower town speed limits.
It's 30 now.
I know. We can't.
No, we don't
We've
want you
tried.
lower.
We've attempted. We've talked in the
Yeah.
past. I remember when I was councilman of the 6th Ward, I wanted to make one of our roads 20 miles per hour because it was even a smaller, quieter road than yours, and I was told that we don't have the authority to do that.
What do we do as, residents there, so we have to wait till a child gets killed?
Is there another way? I mean, I don't know the area that well. Is there another way out?
There's one
No.
way in and one
We're
way
the
out.
only,
So it could
I mean,
make
unless
it
they
even
go around Panessa, which is out of their way, Yeah.
Is
South Park
this,
is a long
is this
straightaway to
like
get out.
neighborhood people that's speeding or just like newcomers in the area?
No, there's, every couple of years you get more 16-year-olds. And the problem is, it's a culture of speeding.
Yeah.
When the
we
police
see
come
it
and
all
enforce
over
it,
town.
it goes down a little bit, but then it comes up. And we have honestly one of the best roads to speed on, in terms of if you want to go straight and fast.
We have a hill, at the top of the hill. They'll go side by side, straight down and do 90 miles an hour.
People, if I do 30 down the road, people will pass me on the left. On
Over the double yellow lines?
Over the double yellow, absolutely.
That double yellow line.
When I
means
make the
nothing.
right hand turn into my court,
Is
they'll
that
just zoom by.
Intersection with Panessa, that's a busy intersection, isn't it?
Yes.
I wonder if that needs to have,
We've asked-
always stop.
We've asked for stop signs and they said
on
you
each
can't
court,
put them
David
up.
Court, Mark Court, we've asked for stop signs.
Well, the state tells us that we can't use stop signs to control traffic. That's what the state says. But if there was a unique situation where it's a very busy intersection,
I mean, I'd like to take a look at that, to see if we can, if there's stop signs that
then, you
put
can't
up.
tell which one would be busy, so we'd have to ask the people who live there, or we'd have to do a study of
Well,
something.
Jerry's a real street too, and Jerry might get busy, I guess. So Panessa and Jerry would probably be good intersections to study.
So if
Mark
that
and
was a
David are on the
three-way
court.
stop, the straightaway would be limited to what?
You'd only
2
get
blocks, 3
It would
blocks?
be a lot
about a
nicer.
block and a half. They can only get up to speed.
I don't understand the connection with the double yellow lines, though. You think that causes more
I
speed?
think people feel like they're on a county road when they see those WL lines, and they just come flying through. I mean, I've seen people. I mean, I'm not a police officer. But I'll estimate they're doing a good 60. I saw a pizza guy doing 60 miles an hour. I actually waved him down on the way out of the neighborhood, and I said, you were doing 60, and I called your boss.
Good.
But I mean, I know that you don't want us running up and stopping people in the road
No,
either.
but
Police don't want
if
that.
you see a delivery man from a particular pizzeria, I'd certainly like to know about it if they're speeding to the neighborhood.
If you go
Mr.
into
Supervisor,
other
could we
neighborhoods.
ask Sergeant Jitka from traffic to maybe look at whether or not those intersections
Yeah, absolutely.
to require three-way stops, always stop?
I'd like to do that, yeah.
I think that would be a good use of his time.
I would love to speak with him.
All right, no, we'll definitely talk to them, we'll look into it, and I'm glad you made us aware of the problem. I hadn't been aware of it, and we
I
hadn't
mean-
heard anything, but,
The town of Poughkeepsie Police Department knows, because I'll be honest, with you, I call once a week.
yeah, I mean, like you said, the problem, from their point of view, this isn't unfortunately an isolated problem on your street, it's a problem we have all over town.
Right.
People are just in a big rush.
And I was hoping for some sort of
So-
a passive, not necessarily police enforcement, but some sort of a passive traffic enforcement that would help people to change the way they drive. If there were stop signs at those intersections that may or may
maybe
not
be
get busy,
nice.
that would be great.
Okay, we'll
No,
definitely
we
look
can't
into
control
it.
speed with stop signs. We're concerned about the
The amount of
traffic.
traffic that comes through.
Now,
here.
Panessa is the main connection coming down from Pleasant Lane, right? So they come down the hill, they come across. So it seems to me that would be a busy intersection.
Yep, it's a very busy intersection.
Will you be able to, catch them or take license plate down?
We've done that.
We've done it, and we've called, like I said, we've called the police and told them, hey, I got a white, whatever model car, I didn't get a license, but they went all the way, I'll see where they go up if they turn to go all the way up Sutton Park. There's 150-something houses on that street, so.
Gotten to the point where we've actually even went to their driveways and said, hey, can you guys please slow down? And then the cops told us, please don't do it because you're gonna cause them. So we don't even track them down anymore.
Any of you are welcome to come and sit in my driveway, I'll give you a soda. Spend some time and see how the traffic is.
No, we'll definitely work on it. Thanks for coming in and
Thank
telling
you.
us about it.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who'd like to address the board? I see no one, come on up.
My name is Jim Finnegan. I live at 9 Division Street, New Hamburg, and I'm just here to ask the board to vote positively on the new amendments about the New Hamburg traffic. The truck's lengths and size is really inappropriate for New Hamburg streets, and their idling and their hours of operation can get very abusive to local residents. So any attempt to control them is very much appreciated by myself and other neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes?
I'm not sure if this is, I'm Diane Levitt, New Hamburg.
Yeah, hi, Diane.
I'm not sure that this is the right forum, but I do have one question
Yeah.
because I've been talking to the owners of White's Marina this week.
Okay.
And really, I'm not clear on the answer, and maybe this is the forum to
Okay,
ask.
sure.
You say 50 feet.
Yes.
Sounds great. We know who that will limit. But when they have a 43-foot yacht being brought in, now obviously a 43-foot yacht's going to probably go on a 53-foot trailer.
Well, the way we have this set up.
How will this work? Is the weight going to be what
No,
makes that possible?
if they had a yacht being brought in of that size the total vehicle length would be over 50 feet. The way we have it set up now is they need to come in between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. They could still come in, but it would have to be during that time frame. We're not excluding those lengths of trucks completely.
Okay,
They're allowed from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
All right, so the 18-wheelers are still coming in?
Yes.
Okay, we didn't,
We
okay.
don't feel that's a legal position that it'd be wise for us to take, excluding them completely.
But if they're 53 feet, they can't come in, right?
So if they're over 50 feet, they're allowed in from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and that's it.
All right.
So they can come in the morning.
They can come in,
That's it.
But then what was
9 a.m. to 2
then what was
p.m.
the statement about the 50-foot?
that's the
Limit.
length. Anything over 50 feet would only be allowed in between the hours of 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
And not any time after that, Diane, where the regular trucks, I think,
They're
are.
excluded earlier than
quicksand.
that, and they're excluded later than that.
Okay. All right, so that would go for the marina as well.
Yes.
It will give you a normal operating business hour.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Diane. Anybody else? Seeing no one, I make a motion to resume the rules.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby adjourned executive session to consider the following matters to wit. One, personnel matter to wit, a meeting to discuss the hiring, fire, and promotion, demotion, and employment history of particular individuals who need not be identified at this time. Two, confidential communications between the attorney and his client, the town board based on attorney-client privilege. And be it further resolved, there be no action appropriate money, so moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. The town board adjourns to executive session at 7:55 PM.